Man Factor 7.
This is so great an opportunity of coming one more time before your presence and to speak to us and to have the opportunity to listen to your word. We ask that as we so pray every now and then, the entrance of your word will bring illumination and will enlighten our path and will lift us up to make a name for God and to make life possible in the lives of your people. Whatever plans the enemy has today, by the entrance of your word, let the enemy be exposed to shame, but let the Son of Man be glorified this day in the name of Jesus. And everybody shouted a very, very big amen. Put your hands together, and don't just put your hands together, shout as you put your hands together. Get off your seat. Get off your seat. Try to talk to about 5 people who are not sitting close to you. Tell them the man factor. Getting interesting by the day. You got to understand that there are people you can never build up a relationship with. The only level they can go with you in life is the level of friends. But never advance in your relationship with them into the arena of brotherliness. You might be killing yourself and be setting up yourself. I'm talking about the man factor. Never forget it, because when I started it, I told you that it is not everybody you begin life with that you got to end life with. If you are not careful and you want to preserve every relationship you start life with to an extent of wanting to manage it and to service it to the end, that relationship might be too expensive a relationship to maintain, and it might draw from your life every virtue, every plan, every dream. And so when you see that this is a high maintenance relationship, take it off and rise up and march forward, because that person that you cannot go into the future with might have another person they might get into the future with. That is why somebody's divorcee is another person's wife. I don't think you came to church. I'm talking about man factor. I've been telling you that you've got to understand that you always need a man to lift up your hand and to draw you into your prophetic arena. At the same time too, you need a man to destroy the plans and the purposes of God for your life. Never say that man is evil, and never say that man is good. Always stand in the middle and create how you want your man to be. If I don't ask you to clap and you want to clap, you've got to clap very, very, very well. And so last week I shared with you how Solomon said, don't just jump into relationship. I told you that the problem with the issue of lost children, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to understand this. Noah's problem was not drinking. No, that wasn't his problem. The Bible says that he planted the vineyard, and the Bible says that he drank of the produce of the vineyard. And he got drunk. But always remember that on the field, if you are a co-worker or if you are an employee of this man called Noah, you can only see Noah drunk. But it takes the people that Noah brings into his tent. It takes the people that Noah invites them into a relationship, call the sons to have access into the camp. It is not wrong to be naked in your tent, because everybody gets naked in the tent. But the problem is who you invite into your tent to be exposed to that naked life of yours. Watch out. Tell your neighbor the man factor. Or tell your neighbor the man factor. You see, one interesting thing about what I'm talking about is you might even be an unbeliever and it is applied. Because if you don't know, all the business principles were taken out of the Bible. And so the life principles of life that can drag you into success are principles from the Holy Scriptures. My friend, before becoming a lover, don't take anybody as a lover if that person has not proven to be a friend. And so when you develop the friendship for 2 years, for 3 years, for 4 years, for 5 years, then you know that this friend is qualified to advance with me from friendship into brotherhood. Tell your neighbor, my friend before my lover. Don't forget this. I told you, ladies and gentlemen who are not married, that if you are not married, wait. Never marry a woman that cannot be your friend, and never marry a man that cannot be your friend. You'll be setting yourself up. Now you know you can't smile because you know it's getting dangerous. And the truth of the matter is, you see, it is not then foreign for Jesus to say, I'm never going to commit myself to any man because I know what is in man. Even when you are built friendship into relationship, there comes a time in your life that you still have to stand in the middle and give every man the benefit of the doubt that as much as I have advanced from friendship into relationship, I will never take it for granted, because one time and a day might come where this relationship could be abused. In my book, The Wisdom Capsules, I said, trust God for greater things, believe Him for greater things, but prepare for the unfortunate thing. Oh, you are not clapping your hands. Trust God that your children shall not die. Believe Him that they shall live and not die. Trust God that your business shall do well. Believe God, confess it, declare it, trust Him. In the midst of trusting Him, there should also be an element of your readiness to accept the death of your child, the death of your husband, the death of your father, the betrayal of a brother, the betrayal of a friend. Because whether you like it or not, man is still man. Listen to this. Do you think that if Judas Iscariot was as evil as of the time that Jesus was ordaining him as a disciple, do you think that if he was evil then, Jesus would have taken him as a disciple? As of the time that Jesus called him out into ministry, he was a very good man. His state of heart was perfect. But when Jesus begins the journey with him, he begins to change. He begins to change. He begins to change. A man that had a perfect heart now had a contaminated heart. And this man that was so trusted by Jesus, believe you me, the Bible says that where a man's treasure is, there his heart will also be. A lot of us say that John was the one that Jesus loved so much, but I believe that he loved Judas more than John. If he loved John more than Judas, he would have given John the wealth. But the Bible says that it was Judas that contained the wealth and managed the wealth. Why? Because where your treasure is where your heart will also be. Which means that Jesus is saying that I love Judas more than I love any of my disciples. But watch out, what happened between Jesus and Judas? Trust God for the best, but prepare for the worst. Because if you don't prepare for the worst in your relationships, in your friendships, in all your endeavors, ladies and gentlemen, men, you may break your heart and set yourself up and kill yourself even before you are killed. Let's look to what Solomon said in Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23. Proverbs 4:23.
Proverbs chapter 4
verse 23.
You are reading from the verse 23. Keep thy heart with all diligence.
Solomon said you've got to preserve, you've got to protect. In fact, the original translation, as I researched into it yesterday, said protect diligently your heart,
for out of
the heart
are the issues
of life. So Solomon is telling you that you've got to understand that if you don't protect your heart will be invaded. The reason why you build walls around your house is that you want to protect your house from invasion of armed robbers. So you protect your heart so that your heart is not invaded, so that your heart is not destroyed, so that your heart is not clamped down. So protect it. You see, your preacher cannot protect your heart for you. Your father cannot protect your heart for you. Whoever has a heart, God has given you the mandate and the ability to guard and to protect your heart. For out of it are the issues of life. Not until yesterday, I thought that the issues of life come from your professor. Not until today, I thought that the issues of life come from who is a president or who is not. Not until today, I thought that the issues of life come from whether you have a visa or not a visa. But I just realized today that the issues of your life, the issues of prosperity for your life, the issues of being steadfast in your life, the issues of standing tall and saying to yourself, I shall not die but live, it's not with your doctor, but the issues of life are with you. I want you to rise up and protect your heart and say to your heart that the issues of life are with me. They are not with my professor. Why? Because if you live your life at the mercy of your professor can either fail you or pass you. He marks your script, but he doesn't mark the issues of your life. Listen to this. President John Dramani Mahama manages the affairs of this nation, but he doesn't manage the issues of your life. Nobody can manage the affairs of your life. The affairs of your life are embedded with your ability to protect, to secure your heart. Don't let anybody break your heart. You've got to stand up, mend your life, mend your heart, protect your heart, and say to yourself, I may be disappointed, but my heart shall not be broken. I shall mend my heart and stand tall and say to myself, Victor, life is still not over. Victor, you are not a failure because you failed. You are a failure because you have decided to remain in failure. You want to say, tell your soul, my soul, arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord risen upon you. Don't let anybody crush you. Before anybody crushes you, you must crush yourself first. Listen to this. Your life and your destiny is in no man's hands, but it is in your own hands. Even when your professor fails you and trains you, your life is not in their hands. I was reading it yesterday. The first 10 most richest people on earth, right from Carlos Slim to Warren Buffett to all these rich people, none of them finished school. All of them were school dropouts. Their professors said that there is nothing good in your life, but they said to themselves, we are going to guard our hearts and speak to our hearts and tell our hearts, your life is not ended. You want to tell your soul, my soul, it is not over until you accept the fact that you are still a failure. Arise and shine. Don't sit down and make a pity party of yourself. Your life is not over. Your life is only over when you tell yourself it is over. Don't let anybody manage your heart for you. Manage your own heart. Even when you have gone to the altar and you have sworn to protect your wife and your husband, and they divorce you and they break you down, don't let them break your marriage and break your heart as they go with your marriage. Mend it, protect it, keep it, because out of it are the issues of your life. Listen to me. In everybody's life, if you make yourself so vulnerable, if you don't know, if you make them the judges and the fighters, they will win the fight over you. Because they will determine their judges, and then they will set their own rules of engagement against your life. Even your brothers and your sisters, even your mothers and your fathers. Watch out. There was a man that died here in Ghana, here in Kumasi. If I mention his name, every one of you will know him. One day we were talking, he said, Osofo, if you have a wife, see to it that he never gets money more than you do. So when you see that your wife is getting money and accumulating wealth, find a way to destroy her finances. If you know the sort of a business that doesn't work well, try and tell your wife, hey, there is a business in town, it is the best. If you invest $10,000, you are going to get $70,000. And then he goes like, women, they love money. So the moment you tell them, they will not think. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about what Kerabi said to me. He said, try and destroy their monies. So let them go and import the things that will not sell in the market. So that when they bring it, they will lose their monies. And then they will come poor. Because women, when they have money and they get power, you are in trouble. You see, you think you are with a wife and a husband, and yet the husband is thinking of how to destroy your destiny out of your hands. Thank God for marriage, but don't put your heart at the disposal of your spouses. Whether they break you or not, whether you are in marriage or not, you've got to stand up in the inside of your life and say to yourself, I shall guard my heart, for out of it are the issues of my life. I didn't ask you to clap, so if you are clapping, clap well. I said if you are clapping, clap well. Listen to this, listen to this. I say this always here. Nobody can do it better for you than yourself. Nobody. One day I was sitting on a flight with a trainer of boxers, and he was telling me, as we conversed, we came to this situation of our conversation, and he said that if you are coaching a boxer and then you see that your boxer hits one place of the opponent, see to it that he hits there and hits there and hits there until he becomes vulnerable. You see, if you allow the enemy to hit you at a particular place and then you become so vulnerable, some of you end up in your bedrooms and for days you cannot come out, and yet the person that caused you that hurt is enjoying with his club and his Guinness, and you are crying and wailing. I came to tell you, let nobody crush you. Guard your heart with all diligence. Explain to yourself that life is still not over. Let nobody mess you up. Let nobody break you up. They can only break you down when you break yourself down. I want to tell you this day and announce to the enemies of this church that nobody can break us down. We can only break ourselves down. We are stronger than ever. We are richer than ever. We are more focused than ever. Let us arise and shine, and let us put our enemies at the back of us and encourage us ourselves and tell ourselves we are better today than we've ever been. Listen to this. You don't lose when they win, but you lose when you lose. Write it down. I said you don't lose when they win, but you lose when you lose. That is why in my book Wisdom Capsules I said failure is not failure because you failed. It is failure because you remain in failure. I don't know who sang the song. And Kugo Yobia Geneche. You see, failure is somebody's opinion. And so never accept the fact that you were a failure. Because if you put your life at the disposal of men, they will be the judges and will be the boxers. They will try to use your situation to their advantage. And so don't sit down for anybody to manage your heart and your life for you. Put your life on your hands and say to yourself, I am the manager of my destiny in my life. Especially some of you, people exit out of your life and you allow them to exit with you. They have exited your life. They know that you were a temporary companion. They cannot build a relationship with you. And so they become like upper and they tell you, bye, bye, bye. See you later. And when they go, you allow them to take you with them. And interestingly, when they check out of your life, they might not even dream about you. They will never think about you, but you allow them to drag you with them. When they go, say goodbye to them, because anybody that says goodbye in your life may not be part of your story for tomorrow. Let them go. But the good news is that God shall prepare a new generation of people that will show up in your life, that shall do you good, that will build you up and drag you into prophetic agenda. Don't let them go with you. Your boss fires you. Your boss who hired you now fires you. In fact, he has over 300 workers. The only day he remembered himself of you was when he fired you. He doesn't even remember your name again. In fact, your boss fired you. He's still sitting in his air condition, enjoying his coffee. And your heart is still broken. In your one bedroom, you are still crying over a boss who doesn't even remember your name. A man enters into a relationship with you. After 5 years of using you, taking advantage of you and taking your monies, he tells you, I'm sorry, I made the greatest mistake of my life. And the man is dating another woman, very happy and excited, and you are crying over the man. You are having sleepless nights, and the man is having enjoyable nights. You imported things, you couldn't have money to clear the goods. The government took it, and something that you spent $100,000 on, he auctioned it for $10,000, and you are still having a broken heart. And the person that bought the $10,000 worth of goods, which was worth $100,000, is enjoying and maximizing his profit, and you are still hidden in your bedroom. You are crying and crying and crying every minute of your life. And if you are not careful, the man, because he's excited, will wake up every morning, will exercise, will go to the gym, will play golf, will play tennis, and then you go to the hospital and you are diagnosed with high blood pressure and diabetes. And the person that caused it doesn't have one single health problem. And you that has been offended, you are going through it all. Tell your neighbor, guard your heart. Guard your heart. Don't let anybody break you. I'll develop it from next week. Don't allow anybody to break you. Never live in unforgiveness, and never live in bitterness, and never live in resentment. It is not worthwhile. When they exit, let them exit. Thank God, a lot of people shall come in. They shall gain access into. Don't forget that Jesus is the door, and so far as he's still alive, some will go out and some will still come in. Don't break your heart. Oh, get off your seat. Talk to about 4 people. Tell them, guard your heart. Don't break your heart. Guard your heart. Don't break your heart. Guard your heart. Don't break your heart. Get up from where you're sitting. Go to somebody that is far from you. Tell him or her, guard your heart. Don't break it. Steve Jobs, he brought it. He said, I'm going to crash Android. I'll mess Android up. The guy was so intelligent. He brought these serious innovations. But the problem with him is that he had a liver cancer. He spent so much money into researches, but none of the researches yielded anything positive. He spent billions of dollars on his liver, but never got it back. He died like every animal dies. And yet, he was worth $1 billion. This is my question. When you don't have $1 billion, but you have a good liver, do you know the value? Somebody paid $1 billion for the liver and yet did not get the liver back. And so when you don't have $1,000 but you have a liver, I came to tell you, the rich is not the one that is deep pocketed, but the rich is the one that is still alive and healthy. You may not have $1 billion, but you are a billionaire. You may not have a car, but you are a billionaire. Why? Because there are people that are paying billions for their kidneys. You know, a friend of ours, myself and Charles, who is a politician, very rich. He had a kidney problem about 8 years ago. A friend of ours, very, very rich, very affluent. But every week he has to do dialysis, $450. Every week for the past 8 years. We were talking at the airport 2 days ago, and then I was on the phone with him. He said, brother, do you know that all the people that I was diagnosed with the kidney problem with, all of them are dead? All of them. I'm the only surviving one. But he still goes for dialysis. And every week is $450. So those of you mathematicians, $450 and 4. If he misses one, he dies. So he has not missed one dialysis. Look at this. Do you know that even though he goes for dialysis, he cannot drink a glass of water a day? Yes, he cannot. A glass of water, he cannot. He cannot eat one chicken drum, the thigh. He cannot eat one a day. He has to measure it, measure the water. There are times that he drinks like 40 meals of water when he finishes eating. He can never drink 100 meals. Ask the doctors here. He is very rich. But you know how it is. When you have to wake up another day thinking I can die any minute of my life. But my brother was telling me about this Discovery Channel that he was watching when somebody was diagnosed with a cancer, and then he was being interviewed on CNN, and he said, when I was diagnosed of cancer, the things I took for granted, like waking up in the morning and looking at the sun, the stars, the moon, I took it for granted. But from the day I was diagnosed of cancer, how beautiful it was for me to see back the stars and the moon and the sun, because I knew that every day of my life was a blessing. Some of us make our lives vulnerable for nothing. You have become a prisoner to your past, a prisoner to the men around you, a prisoner to your enemies, and some of you don't even enjoy the good life that God has given to you. You may not have money, but you are blessed. You may not be rich, but you are blessed. You may not have what they have, but you are blessed. Come on, shake up yourself and speak to your inner man and tell yourself, I am not going to be broken. Guard your heart. Guard your heart. Let your enemies be their problem. You didn't get it. I said let them be their problem. Don't think about them. Make them wonder how you make it. Make them wonder how you survive. Make them wonder how your business is still working. Make them wonder how you built your house. Make them wonder how you did not die. The best thing you can do for yourself is to encourage yourself every day of your life and not give your enemies the opportunity to rejoice over you. When you mourn over your enemies, jubilate and excite yourself about the good ones that surround you. The issues of your life are in your own hands. The issues of life are not in the president's hands. Is it not amazing that in this kind of an economy, people are still making it? Have you realized that people are building more houses today than they used to? I had to dedicate a friend of mine's house 3 days ago in Accra, and I was amazed. 14 car garages, 14, sitting on a 3-acre land. 3-acre land. The kitchen alone is worth, ladies and gentlemen, over 150,000 pounds. Yes, Clive Christian kitchen, very expensive, with all the antiques and its touches. In this time and day, people are making it, which means that your economy should not be by the president, whether it is MPP or NDC. The issues of life are in your hands. You don't care who comes into power. You don't care who loves you. You don't care who hates you. You don't care what you lost. You don't care the business that you lost. You want to tell yourself, I am still not a loser. I am a winner. I am more than a conqueror. As I build it up, understand from today that whether you make it or not depends on you. Whether you succeed or not depends on you. In fact, it doesn't even depend on your enemies. In fact, the good news about your enemies is that they bring the best out of your life. Oh, you are not here. Tell your neighbor, if you are my enemy, you are in a deep problem. Tell your neighbor, if you are my enemy, you are in a deep problem. Didn't I tell you the other day? God himself told David, I prepare my table, I set my table, but he said, I will only set you a table when I have created enemies for you. So if you don't have enemies, you don't have tables. So more enemies, more tables. Can I prophesy over you? Your enemies are in trouble. Your enemies are in trouble. Your enemies are in trouble. Why? Because your destiny is not in their hands. Your destiny is in your own. The man factor. You're obviously going to meet people that will hurt, offend, do you good, promote you. But in the midst of it all, control your destiny. Don't be too vulnerable with your destiny. Don't put your destiny at the disposal of people. As I finish, I was talking to a lady whose husband is almost divorcing her. And then listen to this. The woman said, Papa, when I was going to our bedroom, which I left, I heard my husband telling somebody on phone. What he said, that is the day I had my healing and my deliverance. Because when you become broken, they become strengthened. When you become empty, they become full. Let them wonder how you making it. He threw you out of the house, but let him wonder where you sleep. He said he's no more interested in you, but let him wonder how you survive. He said he will destroy you, he will set you up, but I want to tell you today, arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory. Tell your neighbor, let them wonder, 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 let them wonder. How can I finish in a few weeks on my subject of the man factor without talking to you about your factor? So my message today within the man factor is called your own factor. How do you look at them when they destroyed you? When you have to understand that so far as they have thrown you out of job, listen to me, they are more fulfilled when they see you and you are not working and you are begging. You have given relevance to your exit. But the only day they will have sleeplessness is when they check you out as a teller from the bank, and then they see you on the news that you are the CEO of another bank. That is when their restlessness will begin. May God give your enemies restlessness. May God give your enemies restlessness. May they have insomnia because of your success. Let them have insomnia because of your success. Let them have insomnia because of your success. I came to encourage you. Put your destiny in your hands and tell yourself, I am not a failure because I was trailed in school. I'm not a failure because I lost my business. I have so much debt on me, but that is okay. I know my Redeemer liveth. Stop.